guys, welcome to Expertise Academy. Today we're going to continue into AutoCAD plugin development, and today we're going to see a bit more into how exactly the accessing different objects within an AutoCAD API environment. So how this is all structured. So some of these things we're just going to quickly run through. So today I have for you guys 4 different elements that we're going to quickly run through this. So first thing is, this is an overall structure of an AutoCAD application API that you're going to access different things. So what happens is, you starting with application which will be your AutoCAD. So that's basically it's your AutoCAD EXE. So this is like when you open an AutoCAD EXE. So this is where you access the high level component of the application as such. So with the application object, generally what you get is you can get to you have an access to the document manager. The document manager is like you can open you can have access to all the open documents under that. So that is a object under the application. And the other things that we can actually have access to is the application specific elements, such as the main window property, that is basically the size of your AutoCAD window, the location of the window, a lot of these elements. And so some of the other things which we can also have access, if you look at your typical AutoCAD, you have your application menu, your quick access toolbar, your CUI, which is your ribbon and panel tools interface, and info bar and status bar. So a lot of these things are specific to the AutoCAD application. So it's nothing to do with the drawing, because if you see, like if you set these values up, let's say how you want your ribbon and things like that, if you load any different types of drawings, this is not going to change. So this is irrespective of the drawing. So that comes under the AutoCAD application. So this is basically you access it right here. So then we got the document manager. So the document manager is an object under the application. That means, you know, you can have an access to this one through the application. Now, saying that, if you heard of a term called real DWG, so that is a sort of like an SDK. You can get it, and it comes around like around $5,000 piece per year or something. So it's an SDK through which you can access DWG files without the application. That means you don't have to go through this hierarchy. So pretty much use this SDK, and then you can use you can read, write, and DWG file using this one. So that's basically gets you access to this one directly from the SDK. So that is the real DWG. So if you have an AutoCAD application, so you can go through this way. So the basic difference is, let's say if you're building a cloud application, so where if people are uploading their DWG file, it gives you list of all the layers from the drawing. So let's say if you're building that sort of application. So if you build it as a local plugin, then you need to use this way. So that means, you know, you load the plugin into an AutoCAD application, open the drawing, and then, you know, you extract elements from that. So let's say if it's a cloud application, you don't want to run AutoCAD and then, you know, people accessing your AutoCAD from cloud and things like that. So what you do is, let's say you build an ASP cloud application which is using real DWG file. So people upload the DWG file, and then real DWG will access the DWG, and then it will get the list of layers and then send it as an Excel file or whatever. So that's the concepts of between application real DWG. Excuse me. Okay, so next one is your document manager. Will also give you access to your user prompts, which is basically you can get to the current document and the editor under the current document, and transactions. And the main thing is transactions. So the document manager holds the key for transactions. So the transaction that you do within your document is actually within the document manager. So the document manager holds the transactions, and then it actually commits the transaction, discards the transaction. It happens in this level, so it's not under the document level. So if you look at the application layer, so this is what we get. So the first one is you can get to access to the document manager. Then we got the document window collection, that's a list of all the DWG files. Info center, as I said, so this is basically the info center, so you get access to that one. The main window is your AutoCAD whole window as such, the size of the window, the location of the window, a lot of these elements. And then the menu bar. So the menu bar is by default disabled in the newer version of AutoCAD. So if you got the menu bar, you can control it using this one. And then menu group and preferences, that's your AutoCAD preferences, publisher. So if you want to do background publishing and things like that, so you can use this application. And then the status bar is the one which is underneath here, so you can control what you want to see, hide tools, show tools, and a lot of these elements. And then user configuration, some of these things are ribbon controls, CUIs, and pretty much your anything that you see on the UI, add a tool, remove a tool. So I'll also show you separate exercise how to create a ribbon using code, and add a button to it, add a drop down button, a lot of different elements. So that comes from this item object. All right, so next one is your application documents. So once you drill down into your document manager and go to a specific document, let's say this is let's say if I might have multiple drawings open. So now this drawing, let's say it's mechanical multileaders.dwg file. So this is one of the documents under the document management. So there could be multiple documents open. So once you get to the document level, so you can have access to the database, which is basically the DWG file itself. So DWG file detail. So that will have list of layers, lines and circles and everything, graphical and non-graphical objects together. Editor is what you see here. So this is where you can print information to the user, like the hello world that we have done, and then get inputs from the user, and then we can use that for some calculations and things like that. And then graphics manager. Graphics manager is pretty much the model space, the viewports, a lot of those elements which is showing the graphics, anything on the screen. And then the status bar. So this is document level status bar changes that you want to make. Transaction manager. So this is like every transaction that you do to the database. This is like inside the document, you're going to make some changes to the databases, your DWG file, adding a line and things like that. So the transaction is up here, and then it is under the document and document manager. So pretty much they work in conjunction. And then the user data, like the X data and any other user data that's stored. And then finally the window element as well. So then we got the database, which is where you do most of the elements. This is where people will see your work. I mean, if you're building a standard plugin, so let's say drawing a circle line, creating a layer, anything that you do that affects a drawing, that happens within the database. So the database is finally saving data to the file and reading data from the file. So that sort of elements. So now we got one is a named objects, which is dictionaries. Another one is tables. So typically, if you see two types of objects, I would say graphical and non-graphical. So graphical is like say your layers, tables, font, text, and anything that you see. And non-graphical is your sorry, so this one is like your lines, circles, everything. So that goes into your graphical objects. Non-graphical objects are layers, font styles, text styles. All those ones are non-graphical objects. So you have access to all of those ones. And so that's basically the overall structure. So now if you want to build an application, if you going drilling down and doing a lot of these work, there is a bit more complexity into achieving certain things and overdoing certain things as well, because you have to understand AutoCAD uses, let's say this is an AutoCAD is an application built using C++ or something, and then you got Object-ARX, .NET, and then even JavaScript. A lot of these are managed API services, which is actually using a machine level interpreter or something like that, and then say let's say C++ interpreter or something, and then use the .NET code to do it. So whatever you do, you have to understand that it actually does the .NET work, and then it does the C++ work, and then it changes things on the screen. So so understand how the basic hierarchy works, then it's sort of easy to work with a plugin development. All right, thanks guys, thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions, and subscribe to the channel.